What's up, y'all? I know it's been a minute. I apologize. Actually, no, I've been regrouping, revamping, rerouting, all of those rewords. And for those of you that don't know, my name is Kristen. I used to host a live stream on awhile, which is where most of the people that follow me here are from. Welcome. I am here to give you some of my energy and also read some cards for you for just a general reading. I'm gonna do it from now up until the first week of February, and then hopefully get back into a groove of showing up on my live streams. If you guys don't know, I am a spiritual entrepreneur. I started a coaching business at Crit Gal Helps. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, mostly Instagram for the time being. You can also go to critgalhelps.com if you're curious about booking a session with me, whether it's for a card reading or self-development, which is my area of expertise. I've been studying self-development for the last 5.5, going on 6 years now, and it is my passion, my pride, and my joy. I also read cards, and I'm an intuit, as well as a designer and an artist. So I'm gonna read from tarot as well as an oracle deck called the Starseed Oracle. I can link both of those in the description if you're curious about them. These are my favorite decks to work with. I do have a ton of decks. So depending on the reading and the inquiry present from my clients, I will use different decks depending on what their inquiries are. For example, I have a love deck as well. I love tarot. It simply cuts through a lot of the noise and the BS. And then I love to wrap it up with an oracle reading just because it's a little bit more light and has the essence of, you're doing great, sweetie. Here's what you can do to feel a little bit more into your being. All right, so let's just get into it. And what I like to do for general readings is just stay open. I set the intention that my guides will share this video with who needs it and who is meant to hear it. So if you're watching this right now, this message may be meant for you. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Let's see what comes through. All right, so right off the bat, we have 9 of Wands with the High Priestess in reverse. So what this shows me is you are diligently working towards that 10 of Wands, right? And oftentimes this 9 of Wands is really about resilience and continuing on in your journey. The High Priestess in reverse is really just a, I don't want to say warning, but an inkling to listen to your intuition. You may be a little bit disconnected from your intuition and not paying so much attention to symbolism as well as your dreams. I'm here to recommend you do pay attention to your dreams. And I would just say, if you ever are interested in keeping something like a dream journal, I know a lot of us say like, oh, I don't remember my dreams, or I don't dream. Everybody dreams. Yes, you may not remember them, but you can train yourself to start to pay more attention to your dreams by doing something like keeping a dream journal. What this does is, the second you wake up, if you, instead of reaching for your phone, reach for a pen and paper and write down anything you can remember about your dreams. I like to do it in the present tense. For example, I'm swimming across the lake and I see a row of boats that my family is driving. And that just helps to train your mind to say, oh, this is important to me. I'm gonna remember my dreams. So I would say that the first 2 cards out are really about continuing on, understanding that delays are inevitable at times, and oftentimes protection. So trust in where you are right now, as well as open up that communication to your subconscious through listening to signs and synchronicities, paying more attention to things that are showing up in your life at present, right? Asking, what does this mean? And being okay with not receiving an answer immediately, right? But just opening yourself up to those signs and symbols and synchronicities in your life. Can I get a further, please? Wow. Okay, so 3 of Swords wanted to fly out. 3 of Swords is really about heartbreak. Now, this doesn't have to mean romantically. It could, but it doesn't have to. We have Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck, which just is honestly more waiting. You've got the world in your hands, you're on your way, but there may be some delays or some resistance here. I would say with the Three of Swords, what it's really communicating is that you may be going through heartbreak. Okay, so now good news about heartbreak is that you see those storm clouds in the back and the rain that's falling. This too shall pass. I know that when we are in times of heartbreak and in times of dealing with the ebbs of life, it is tough to see outside of that. And it's actually, humans perceive pain as never ending. We perceive pain as this is the end all be all and we'll never be okay again. But everything is preparing you for what you are meant for. So how can you rest assured in the knowing that you will survive this? I know that it's not easy when you're going through these ebbs of life and you're being put through challenges or heartbreak, but everything will pass. So although you may be bleeding right now, metaphorically, literally, this too shall pass. That's the message that's coming through for me. And I know that that's such a cliche, you guys, but it's really true. It's really true. All right, let's pull a few more. Going in the future, I may start to open this up to the signs. So let me know in the comments if you want me to be a little bit more specific. Maybe I do a reading for Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, etc. All right, let's see which card. Okay, we have the moon, and the moon, play it as it lays, which is how I like to read tarot, meaning that how it falls is how I read it. So the moon is in reverse. Now again, with the High Priestess and the moon in reverse, you have two higher arcanas in the reverse position, and both are speaking to your subconscious mind. So I really want you to start paying closer attention to your emotions, your instincts, your emotions, your instincts, and your intuition. I would say we tend as people to gaslight ourselves, right, and use more of our logical thinking brain to make sense of what we're going through. But oftentimes when we surrender and we open up to how something makes us feel, that's a stronger communication than what your thinking brain is going to give you, right? And it's important to listen to your thoughts, right, and observe them. And I won't say but because I don't want to negate that, and open up your heart and recognize that that's also an intelligent part of you, right? And through our heart, we can really process our feelings and how a connection or a loss or a relationship, anything, makes us feel. And that is important, right? Your feelings are valid and they're meant to be a communication, right? It's communicating to you. Can I get a further? Jumping out, baby. Jumping out, jumping out. All right. We have the Five of Swords. Okay. We got some air energy in here, and what I want to communicate with the Five of Swords, sorry, it's focusing on me, not the cards. What I want to communicate with the Five of Swords is simply that winning at all costs isn't always worth it. And what I mean by that is, earlier, 2 cards ago, you had the Three of Swords, right? So 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords, 5 of Swords, which is where we're at right now. And 5 of Swords is really about, you have won the argument, but what have you lost from that space? And you can really see here within the card, hopefully it focuses, let me get out of the way, that this character here, which is you, has all of the swords, but people are walking away, and he looks a little bit smug, right? So what are you communicating, and from what space, right? Like, are you the type of person that you have to have the last word in an argument? You just want to win at all costs, no matter what that cost is. You're willing to almost forge your way in order to get ahead of people or to prove a point. But what does this say about you? Because oftentimes that's coming from a space of insecurity, right? I need to win to prove something. But if you truly are comfortable and have enough grounding within yourself, within your own being, you really don't always have to have the last word in order to communicate that you are strong, right? And you are smart and you are able to stand within your own energy. Often, silence is just as much a communicator as having the last word. So I would just say open up to what are you losing when you are so focused on only yourself and winning at all costs, right? So what is that costing you in the long run is my question to you. What is it costing you in the long run to always need to be right, to always need to have the last word, okay? And I dropped a few cards, but play it as it lays, baby. So this will be the final. All right, look at this spread, my friends. Oh my gosh. So we have the Eight of Pentacles. What the Eight of Pentacles shows me is that you are steadily working away, building your abundance, building security for yourself, okay? And that is no small feat. Building security within yourself is just as important as, you know, financially building for yourself. So oftentimes we get into this lack scarcity mindset where it's like that one job is your only provider. No, the universe is your provider. So how can you find security within yourself? And this card is just a reminder that you're doing that. So it's more of a commendment. It's more of recognition that you are steadily working away at building security, whether that's literally or metaphorically speaking. Knight of Cups, followed by the Ace of Cups, followed by the Nine of Cups. Woo, baby. What potent energy this is. So Knight of Cups on its own is typically seen as like a romantic offer. In this spread, with you having the Ace of Cups right after, I feel like this could be about more new opportunities that are beginning to present themselves in their life, or in your life. And if they haven't, right, especially following this Eight of Pentacles energy, where it's all about building security, then you have the Knight of Cups bringing in an offer, followed by the Ace of Cups, which is usually, you know, your inner cup is full, you're overflowing, you're receiving new opportunities, and it's really about being gifted something from the universe, right? So what I see here is that you are on your way, if not already at your Nine of Cups. And I love the Nine of Cups because two reasons. Obviously, the Nine of Cups is you in, oh my gosh, I wish it would focus. I'm sorry, you guys. There we go. The Nine of Cups is you with your bounty, right? But you are on this bench, right? You see this bench that you're sitting on, it's wooden, and you do look pretty comfortable. However, sitting there for too long, you're gonna start to get uncomfortable, to say the least. What this is just reminding you is that everything ebbs and everything flows. Everything is in a constant state of motion, right? So your Nine of Cups may last forever, but it also may not, right? On your way to the Ten of Cups, you may revert back to the Eight of Cups and then go to the Nine again and then go to the 10. What this means is just be grateful and really recognize when you are feeling in your flow, when you are feeling like your inner cup is full, and when you are overflowing, you have more love to give, right? When you're overflowing with self-love, security, all of these beautiful emotions, you have more to give others, right? And you have more, your inner well is full, so you're obviously overflowing enough to provide for others as well. So with the Nine of Cups, it's just a simple reminder that yes, you are in your bounty, in your glory, on your way there if you're not already. But just this reminder that never get too comfortable in life by not appreciating or taking advantage, or yeah, just simply not recognizing that, hey, like I've been down and out before and now I'm in a really great place. Look how far I've come. Life is incredible. It's always teaching me, right? And there's always more. There's always more. So just that simple reminder. I think we're gonna end the tarot there, and I'm just gonna go further with the Oracle deck because that's what I'm being called to do. So with the Oracle deck, right, and I will show you guys your spread either in the show notes or I will just put it in the video. I'll probably just take a little video after and add it to this. But with Oracle, I like to ask as a general closing, what is good for you to know and an action you're guided to take within the next few weeks. So let's open it up and ask what is good for you to know. And let's just ask to wrap up this reading with the last two cards. Awesome. Lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. Okay, so I'm gonna wait till this focuses because these cards are just so beautiful. This is the Starseed Oracle deck. I will link it in the description. But what lifting the veil means is that between worlds, the veil is super thin right now, and it's important to question not only your physical reality, but any type of energetic connections you've made, which I guess is part of the physical material world, and question those relationships, those commitments, because anything that is not aligned with the energy you're calling in must go. So what that means is oftentimes when you are in between shifting from one way of being to another way of being, maybe you're calling in, you know, more this year. It's 2023, it's the start of a new year, you have goals, you have visions, but we often forget to ask, like, what is that gonna ask of you? What is the reality you're calling in going to ask of you? And what it's gonna ask of you is a lot of releasing, a lot of letting go of what no longer resonates with who you're calling in, right? So lifting the veil is really about seeing between worlds and questioning your current reality and any previous ways of being and asking yourself, is this aligned with who I want to be this year? Or is this aligned with who I'm calling in these next few weeks? And if it isn't, then have the strength and the courage to let it go. Loosen your grip and recognize that anything that falls away now is just creating space for what you asked for what you're calling in, right? So anything unaligned must go. So ask, what is resonating with my energy currently and what is not? And feel free to let go of what is not. An action you are guided to take, right? So an action you are guided to take. All right, you're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, and community. So this may be a challenge for you as this fell in reverse position, and with Oracle cards, for me, you can always read something in a reverse position, but not usually, like within a book of an Oracle card deck, is it gonna give you a reverse meaning. So what I wanna say is this could have been a challenge for you in the past, or this could be a challenge in your life as a whole, where you tend to isolate, right? And you tend to spend a lot of time on your own. And starseeds, if you resonate with that term, or empaths, tend to spend a lot of time alone. Yes, I resonate with that. And what this card is calling you to do is to recognize that you chose this experience, okay? I need to remind myself of this so often, that you chose the physical experience, right? You chose to, sorry, it's not quite, there we go. You chose to come to Earth, right? And so you're not alone is really just about reminding you that there are physical people in your life you can reach out to, and it's great to recognize that we all need each other, right? Humans tend to run in packs. We are pack animals, and whether or not we fully resonate with that and we spend a lot of time on our own, it's okay to do that to recharge, right? And it's okay to recognize and establish healthy boundaries. But hyper independence is a trauma response, okay? And isolating yourself to a point of not having any physical interactions or not having any physical connection can often do more harm than good in the long term, because you may have this beautiful energy and this potent energy, but what does it mean if you're not sharing it with other people, right? Especially those that you connect with and who truly know you. So open yourself up to community, open yourself up to the people that are in your life physically, and reach out to them. How can you reach out to them? So that's the action you're guided to take. I hope that this reading resonated. If it did, let me know with a little thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more readings or just more of my energy. And let me know if it resonated, and if you feel like it, follow me on Instagram at CritGalHelps. I also have my personal account at CritGal, and I hope to see more of y'all in the next video. And peace, love, and blessings. Alright, y'all, and this was your spread. Just want to go ahead and give that to you, as well as the last 2 oracle cards. And then I'm a woman of my word. This is the oracle deck I was using, Starseed Oracle. I love this deck, as well as Tarot, Rider Tarot, you know. Enjoy!